Oh, it's rather nice here today, so I thought I'd read you Chapter 11 from A Brush with Paradise. Notice the background? Blue skies. I am enjoying this. Here you go. It's called The Banquetting Room. I decided to take a wander around the mansion. Not snoop or anything, more admire the styles and excessive expenses of everything on show. I opened a set of double doors and gloried at the magnificent sight set in front of me. The banqueting room was fully laid to equal anything I had seen in those National Trust stately homes of times gone by. Silver cutlery, crystal glasses, candlesticks, Georgian naturally, the lot. What sheer class, and set for 16 persons. Highly polished Chippendale chairs, and I assumed a matching table. There goes the train. In a word, it was exquisite. The long drapes tied revealed the full-length arch windows which overlooked the gardens and beyond the sea. It was like stepping back into a different era. My first thoughts were to capture and sketch the room from all four corners. The paintings which adorned the walls looked very familiar. I noticed a Picasso, a Monet, two Monets, a Chagall, and a Salvador Dali, believe it or not. Were they real? They looked so familiar, surely they had to be reproductions. Well, at the least they were very good copies. I ran off and fetched my sketch pad and returned. I was not sure that I should have even been in there. I mean, there wasn't exactly a sign to say stay out. My good friend and mentor and artist Vincent, who had sadly died, used to paint interiors using pastels. Very moody and were very good. Furthermore, they all used to sell when I displayed them in my gallery. You felt like you could walk in and lose yourself in the atmosphere. You could even smell the polish and the mimosa, and not forgetting the wine or open bottle of vintage port that sat resting in the decanter, waiting to be sipped. I imagined him whispering in my ear, "I say, old chap, you must capture the light bouncing off the surfaces. It's all rather fun, don't you think?" Fun indeed. I still missed him to this day. I leaned against the door frame of the double doors to complete the first sketch. I looked through into the room to get a good vista. Then I caught the opposite side of the room as the light bounced through the windows. The third sketch I took by the window and caught the effects of the shadows on all the table attire. And finally, after about an hour, I stood for the last perspective in the far corner, which looked back towards the double doors. I was rather satisfied with my results after going hell for leather. Then I noticed a panel in the wall, which emitted a light around its edges. Now I knew it was none of my business to have a peek. It just happened to get the better of me. I strolled over and gently touched the panel, and to my surprise it opened silently and exposed 12 heavy-duty rifles, which even I knew were not the hunting type. They all stood proudly to attention on parade. They were the battlefield commando type. Jesus, these bastards were the real killing machines. Blimey, I was quite taken aback, as that lot of hardware was dangerous stuff. It wasn't your average Sunday afternoon Monopoly game equipment. I mean, I still had no idea as to what Angus actually did. Actually, I thought that maybe I didn't want to find out after what I discovered. So I closed the door panel till it clicked, indicating it was locked, and then left. I was worried for sure, and for the first time since surviving Lizzie's driving, actually felt unnerved and somewhat unsafe. It was time for some fresh air, at least try and clean the mind from what I'd inadvertently discovered. I couldn't tell anyone, and tried to put those guns out of my mind. It was no mean task. Who or what they were for, well, I knew what they were for. I decided it was rightly time for a refreshment and calm my nerves. I sat on the veranda and pondered. Lucia walked out. "Why are you sitting doing nothing? You always do nothing." "Lucia, I'm thinking. It's what we artists do. We think some more, then we go off and paint after a refreshment or two. It helps oils the wheels of creativity." I wondered if Lizzie knew what her father did. Something inside me said, "Leave well alone," but it ticked like a long-programmed time bomb inside my head. One day maybe, but not just now. There was a time way back when I was invited to a new bar opening in the town. It was across the road from the courthouse. It had 2 entrances as well. One was for the winners and one was for the losers. Mind you, solicitors never lost. They were always paid. Anyway, around halfway through the evening, the police entered the bar and informed everyone to leave and get out of town. There'd been a call to say that bombs had been strategically placed somewhere near and were set to go off at 10 p.m. You have never seen a place empty so fast, which was a damn shame as it was a free bar with shed loads of champagne supplied and sponsored by a well-known company. The thought of one more for the road did enter my mind. Alas, it was not meant to be. There were many blue flashing lights, roads were closed, public transport was halted and taxis were barred from entering the city. Therefore, the only option was to walk. Walking was good for you except when it was 0 degrees, and several of us set off braving the elements to try and get to safety after 20 minutes warmth. By the look of the gods, we found a place open which was a safe distance from the ringed off area and continued the party, except this time we had to purchase the drinks. The following day the news reported it had all been a false alarm. Those bastards cost me a fair few quid that night. I rang the owners of the bar to say thanks for the party and would they consider another opening night. They declined, which was fair to be honest. That was the first time I'd seen police with heavy-duty guns walking around on the streets, and I tried to put the thoughts of the guns out of my mind and think of something more creative again. Sunshine. That was it. Lots of glorious sunshine, good food, beautiful people and beautiful smiles. It started to work again. Paint. That was it. Capture the right moments. Death and destruction would have to wait for some dystopian tale another time. That's all for now.